Now let's start off with in the headlines here on KBC Channel 1. Remember, it's the 1st of April 2025. Now, a family in Nakuru County is mourning the demise of 7 keen in a road accident along the Naivasha-Mai Road. The 3 adults and 4 children were traveling for a memorial service to Longonot when the tragedy occurred. Among the deceased are father and his 3 children.
Gold wreckage of the car that claimed 7 lives, all members of the same family, 3 brothers and 4 children perished.
Mmoja wao alipoteza watoto wake watatu, so bibi yake ameachwa bila chochote. Bwana yake aliaga na watoto watatu. The rest wameacha familia zao.
The family had attended a memorial service in Longonot earlier in the day for a relative who had passed away the previous week and was returning to Naivasha at the time of the accident.
Wakati walikuwa naenda maombolezi walienda wakiwa 8. Mmoja wao hakurudi nao, so walirudi wakiwa watu 7.
Naivasha OCPD Anthony Ketar said preliminary investigations indicate the driver of the Land Cruiser they were traveling in was attempting to overtake another vehicle moments before crashing into this lorry. The family has been thrown into confusion as they ask for financial assistance to bury their kin.
Tunahitaji usaidizi. Our mom is sick. Alikuwa amefanyiwa operation. She's now 3 weeks from that time. So we need well wishers to help us.
Ketar has urged drivers to exercise caution, attributing many accidents to speeding and reckless overtaking.
May the soul of the departed rest in peace. Now, President William Ruto has kicked off his 5-day tour of Mount Kenya. That was yesterday, 6 months since his last visit in August last year. The president will be visiting all 9 counties in the region, where he will commission, inspect and launch various projects ranging from roads, affordable housing, markets, last-mile electricity connectivity, water and irrigation. Here's Giverson Minor with more.
President William Ruto returns to the Mount Kenya region for the first time since the removal of Rigathi Gachagua as deputy president in October 2024. The 5-day tour comes in the wake of the formation of the broad-based government with Raila Odinga-led Orange Democratic Movement Party and 3 cabinet reshuffles, with the latest being on Wednesday last week. President Ruto's program begins on Tuesday, April 1st, 2025 in Laikipia County, where he will, among others, inspect the ongoing construction of the county aggregation and industrial park in Laikipia West constituency. The next stop will be Nyeri County, where the head of state will issue title deeds in Kieni constituency and launch last-mile electricity connectivity. In Murang'a County, President Ruto is expected to, among others, inspect ongoing water, sanitation and sewerage programs in Maragua constituency. In his Nyandarua County tour, he will visit the incomplete JM Memorial Hospital in Olkalau.
Mambo ya masoko yale yanaendelea kujengwa na haswa ambaye tunaanzisha katika municipality ya engineer. Hiyo pia tunatarajia rais akija aweze pia kupeana nafasi hiyo kwa watu wenye ndio kupata hiyo soko na mambo mengi.
Dr. William Ruto tukuje tuangalie progress, tuangalie pahali hospitali imefika, to compile report na tumpeleke.
Then inspect the section of the Mau Mau Road under construction in Lari constituency as part of his engagements in Kiambu County. For Embu County, the head of state schedule has inspection of the ongoing Kiambere bulk water project in Bere South constituency, which incidentally is the home of Public Service Cabinet Secretary nominee Geoffrey Ruku. By the end of the tour, on Saturday, April 5th, 2025, the president will also have a visit in Meru County, which recently swore in a new governor. Tharaka Nithi County, where the deputy president hails from, and Kirinyaga County. In all the counties, President Ruto will assess progress in the construction of affordable housing, markets and last-mile connectivity. His trip to appease the restless Mount Kenya region comes a month before former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua launches a political party that he claims will be a political vehicle for the region ahead of the 2027 general elections.
And the first stop in that particular presidential tour is it's going to be Laikipia, and we have a team that is going to be keeping tabs on that particular tour. Remember, it has tongues wagging across the political divide. We'll look at what comes out of it. Now, National Treasury has proposed an allocation of 405.1 billion shillings to County Equity Busheo in the 2025-2026 financial year. This is part of a projected total budget of 2.8 trillion shillings, leaving the remaining 4.2 trillion shillings for the national government. However, the Council of Governors is pushing for an upward review to 536.8 billion, citing expanded fiscal growth. This debate unfolds as Parliament's Budget and Appropriations Committee begins public hearings on the Division of Revenue Bill 2025 ahead of the budget reading in June.
The Council of Governors is demanding an increase in the county equitable share from 405.1 billion shillings to 536.88 billion shillings in the 2025-2026 financial year. In its submissions before the National Assembly's Budget and Appropriations Committee, the Council argued that the national government's share should be reduced to 2.29 trillion shillings to accommodate county needs. Governors justified their demands by citing economic growth projections, which are expected to reach 5.3% in the next financial year and remain stable over the medium term. They also cited unmet non-discretionary expenditures, the impact of national policy shifts on county budgets, and the need for proper funding of transferred functions. On the other hand, National Treasury has defended its proposals on account of revenue collection challenges. In the first half of 2024-2025 financial year, ordinary revenue fell short by 91.9 billion shillings due to broad tax categories missing their targets. Treasury also points to mandatory expenditures and financing constraints stemming from limited access to domestic and international financial markets, among others. Meanwhile, the Commission on Revenue Allocation has proposed a slightly higher county equitable share of 417.4 billion shillings.
Now, 6 county governments are on the spot for failing to appear before the Senate Public Accounts Committee to respond to queries raised in the 2023-2024 Auditor General's report. The county executives of Isiolo, Kiambu, Baringo, Marsabit, Nyamira and Kajiado did not honor the invitations of the Watchdog Committee amid allegations of misappropriation of funds as highlighted by the Auditor General. Kevin Mushira with the report.
The Senate's County Public Accounts Committee considered the Auditor General's reports for the financial year 2023-2024 for the 47 counties, observing recurring audit queries including lack of updated asset register, delay and non-submission of documents to the Auditor General, as well as payments of salaries outside payroll database. Within the period of consideration of the reports, the Senate's Watchdog Committee invited all the 47 county executives and county assemblies to respond to the queries. County bosses from Isiolo, Kiambu, Baringo, Marsabit, Nyamira and Kajiado counties did not show up, hence putting themselves on the spot. As a result, the committee adopted the Auditor General's reports of the 6 counties in their entirety and now wants Governors Abdi Guyo, Kimani Wamatangi, Benjamin Cheboy, Mohamud Ali, Amos Nyaribo and Joseph Olelenku summoned by the Senate. The committee also resolved to initiate a special inquiry into the governance arrangements within Nyamira County. This inquiry comes in the light of the ongoing challenges within the County Assembly of Nyamira.
Now, a hospital in Thika, Kiambu County has decided to use TikTok to educate expectant mothers on the importance of pre- and post-natal care to reduce maternal mortality. Mary Help the Sick Hospital hopes that the platform will help create more awareness about reproductive health and newborn care.
At Mary Help the Sick Hospital in Thika, Kiambu County, the maternity wing is lively. Health workers are enlightening new mothers on maternal health and newborn care. However, after giving birth, some women do not bother to seek postnatal care. But this health facility has changed the narrative by extending this knowledge to women via social media. As long as you have a TikTok account, you will come across Nurse Shiko.
Risks zenye zinafanya nini mtoto akufie kwa tumbo. Some of the risks ni kama kutumia hard drugs, kusmoke, kuteka alcohol. Unajua mtoto anakuwa malnourished juu hana nutrients zenye anahitaji za kumfanya grow.
The hospital's chief executive director, Sister Banya Seili, says the move has made it easier for women to access some services virtually and reduce congestion at the facility.
During the pregnancy, what kind of exercise they have to do and what are the steps that they have to follow and danger signs that during the pregnancy. Also, after giving birth, during that 2-3 weeks, what are the exercise mothers supposed to follow. Also, for the baby, how to take care of.
Mekuja kuona pia ni njia mzuri ya kuweza kufikia watu wengi sana kwa mafunzo basic yenye watu hawajui kama kufunza mama kushika mtoto. Unajua pia kushika mtoto ni skill. Ni skill. Kunyonyesha pia ni skill.
Jenjeri and Masi Muteri say they have benefited from the TikTok engagements.
Tunaelimisha mambo ya immunization. Watu wengi sana hawajui umuhimu wa immunization. Wakati ambapo unakosa kupeleka mtoto wako immunization, haumsaidii kwa sababu yale madhara yatakuja kuonekana baadaye.
Whenever a woman comes in with her husband, they are given the first priority because of the respect that is accorded to the husband in whichever health facility that is there.
Helping her to do some of the basic activities and basic chores around the house, and also taking care of the children.
At the same time, the hospital is encouraging men to accompany their wives for prenatal and postnatal services, with a clarion call to other health facilities to embrace technology and promote maternal health.
Now, 17 mountain bongos that were safely repatriated from the U.S. seem to have adapted to the new environment. The repatriation of bongos were donated to the government of Kenya by the Rare Species Conservatory Foundation in Florida, United States, following decades of dedicated research and breeding since 1991. Meru Bongo and Rhino Conservation Trust Chairman John Kinoti said that the move aims to reintroduce and repopulate the species within the northern slopes of Mount Kenya forest.
Meru Bongo and Rhino Conservation Sanctuary repatriated mountain bongos from a Rare Species Conservatory Foundation in Florida, USA, grace peacefully, seemingly having adapted to their new environment. The project, according to John Kinoti, Chairman, Meru Bongo and Rhino Conservation Trust, demonstrates the first effort in several decades of a public-private partnership, one of its kind in Kenya, that targets to reintroduce and later repopulate the species.
In this location is one of the best habitat for bongo, I guess, in Eastern Central Africa. And this is a place to be. This is where bongos used to be. And we've looked at history. The numbers of bongos in the world that were counted in 50 years ago, much of the population was in this region.
The project also intends to incorporate local communities to boost ecotourism by enhancing biodiversity protection throughout the Mount Kenya ecosystem.
Actually, in this project, participating with the community and everybody else to reverse this story of extinction.
And we hope they settle in quickly and start to do what they do best, which is breed and produce more bongos, so that we can eventually, within the next few years, start to release animals onto the broader Mount Kenya ecosystem to re-establish a healthy population of mountain bongo here in Mount Kenya.
Meru Bongo and Rhino Conservation Sanctuary sits on 250-acre piece of land at Marania and Mushene in Meru County and is part of Kenya's first ever conservation public-private community partnership and stands as a cornerstone of Kenya's National Bongo Action and Recovery Plan.
Now, a distressed family in Koruruma village in Teso North sub-county is appealing for financial assistance to help them transport back the remains of their daughter, who died 3 months ago in Saudi Arabia under unclear circumstances. James Epurati says his daughter, Fanis Hamanyi, went overseas in search of greener pastures 6 years ago, only for the family to be notified of her death 3 months ago. Details on this and other stories from our county's news roundup.
According to James Epurati, the deceased father, he only got to hear from his daughter Fanis Hamanyi late November last year for the first time in 6 years when she complained of an ailment. A month later, he was notified of her demise. Epurati has now implored the government and well-wishers to help them raise 500,000 shillings to bring her daughter's remains back to Kenya.
Kama serikali ya Kenya hii inaweza kunisaidia, inisaidie mimi ilete mtoto wangu, ili mimi mwenyewe nizike mtoto wangu.
In Busia County, boda riders have been encouraged to embrace electronic motorbikes in a move aimed at mitigating climate change. Ruben Omari, an electric engineer, says a fully charged battery enables the rider to travel up to 100 kilometers.
Our bike does not emit any fumes, any smoke, so it's environmentally friendly.
Elsewhere, artisanal and small-scale miners in Migori County have been urged to use protective gear to reduce the risk of contracting tuberculosis. During a health stakeholders workshop held in Migori Town, Migori County Chief Officer of Health Mbale Shanzu emphasized the need for improved working condition for miners.
This is the only source of their livelihood, so they are looking for money. And because maybe they are lacking the equipment to use when they are doing the mining itself, then they tend to not to use any protective PPE. Even the environment itself may not be very conducive for them.
In Kakamega County, a somber mood engulfed Ikoli village in Malava constituency following the murder of a 73-year-old man over an alleged land ownership dispute. The deceased daughter, Rose Iteti, says a gang of unknown assailants stormed their homestead at midnight and killed the old man.
Kama watu wa Ikoli wanaweza chukua kitendo kama hii, waue babangu. Nimehuzunika sana. Mtu akikosa unampeleka sharia. Na baba alikuwa amekosea nini?
Now that takes us to Matis Sports, where heavy downpour that was witnessed in Alachua County, Gainesville, Florida, on the last day of the World Masters Athletics Indoor Championship did not deter international walker Eric Sikuku from winning his second gold medal and fifth for Kenya in the 10-kilometer race walk. The team is expected back in the country tomorrow, which is 2nd of April.
Eric Sikuku won his second gold after clinching a gold on Friday by smashing the world record in the 3,000-meter race walk by winning the 10-kilometer road race walk. The 10-kilometer walk race was unique since they combined the age categories from M35 to 59. Interestingly, Sikuku, who falls in the M50 to 54 bracket, stole the show from the younger participants, taking the lead and maintaining it up to the end. Just before the finish, the heavens opened again, but it was a sweet finish and a gold for Sikuku, clocking 45 minutes and 26 seconds. An elated Sikuku said his mission had been accomplished, bagging for Kenya 2 gold medals. Earlier on, Elizabeth Mudoka missed out on the podium, finishing 4th in the 400 meters W50 category. The gold medal in the race went to Helen Hamudstad of Sweden, who clocked 58.64 seconds, smashing the world record. The silver and bronze medals went to Jenny Akaval of Sweden and Morhelna Wallace of the United States, respectively. Kenya bagged a total of 5 gold and 3 silver medals. The championship attracted 4,000 athletes from 98 countries. The Kenyan team is expected back in the country on 2nd of April.
Congratulations to the team there. Now, Kenya Railways elite amateur John Levjima shot a round of 3 under par 68 to hold a one-stroke lead after round 1 of action of the Sunshine Development Tour East Africa Swing Qualifying School Tournament at the par 71 Great Rift Valley Golf Resort in Naivasha. Lajirma sits one stroke ahead of the par of Muthaiga Golf Club's Greg Snow and Vet Love Sports Club Isaiah Otuke, who returned scores of 2 under par 69, and the players were looking to make the cut and play through the Wednesday and Thursday for a share of the 1 million Kenya shillings prize purse. And more importantly, the opportunity to play at the Sunshine Tour final stage qualifier in Joburg for the top 10 finishers. That effectively puts matters of news to cap at this point at exactly a few minutes to 7. That is exactly 1 minute to 7, so you're up to date. Some of the developing stories, you're going to be keenly focusing on what is happening down in the mountain region as the president begins his tour, with the first stop being Laikipia.